Hey, what's up guys, Mashine here, come back with a brand new video for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about every single resource that I personally use before I invest into a case. Very important that you're doing research before you invest, and today we're going to be giving you all the necessary functions for you to do that. And we're going to be going over all of those after a quick word from our sponsor, SkinsMonkey. The sponsor for today's video is SkinsMonkey. Now SkinsMonkey is the quickest, easiest, and most importantly, safest way to go ahead and trade your CSGO skins. Now SkinsMonkey is super easy to use. You just have to take your item, take the item you want, and just go ahead, apply code MasterShiny to get your free $5 if it's your first trade, and just click trade. And if you've got no money to spend right now, they've got two ways for you to get some. First is just heading over and topping up. Make sure to use code MasterShiny for a free 5% there, and they've also got the freebies section where you can go ahead and enter free raffles that happen every single day. And as always, thank you so much SkinsMonkey. Make sure you're using the top link in the description to claim your free $5 today. So starting off here, we're going to be starting with price. Now I'm going to be giving you what each indicator is useful for, along with the specific places and sites you should be using to check everything out. Obviously with price, it's very important that when I at least invest, I'm looking for an ROI return and not specifically a $sign return. You can get a high $sign return if you go ahead and spend a couple $100 on something. I've made $150 off my cobblestone package, but that's only a 30% ROI over the span of a year and a half. It hasn't been the greatest ROI investment in terms of CSGO. So when we're looking at price here, obviously we want to focus in on those cheaper cases that are most likely to grow. In my opinion, this is where the majority of my investing, especially today, is focused in on. I don't really like going over $1, $1.50 on most cases because usually it's not the most beneficial, especially talking about those couple dollars. For the price, the main thing I look at is probably the Steam community market, but I also check out those third-party sites. Just because something is a little bit more expensive on the Steam community market doesn't mean you should limit yourself from those third-party sites. Check them all out. They usually have some decent price points, especially if you're checking every single site out. You can probably find a couple that have a decent discount on it, and therefore it would make it more beneficial for you to invest in at that price point. The next thing I want to talk about is supply and demand. Now when we're talking about supply, I don't mean the amount listed on the market. This is the biggest and most important thing about supply because we don't have a good idea of the majority of cases how many are out there. We can really only tell how many have been unboxed and what's listed on the Steam market, which leads a lot of people to falsely go ahead and think that the amount on the Steam market is the total amount of the cases out there or a percentage of the amount of cases out there. In most cases, this is completely incorrect and is most likely going to more be harmful to you than rather beneficial in my opinion. It's a very, very rough comparison and can be used in specific circumstances, but in my opinion, for the most part, unless you're backing it up with other evidence, the supply on the market should never be used to justify an investment. Now talking about demand is much easier and we have specific numbers for it. I always use the number unboxings from Reddit. Biggest thing I want to point out is obviously these are not specifically accurate. This is someone who goes out of their way to give us these estimations, and therefore they're not getting paid for it. They're not getting anything for it. So we got to take what we can get and not be upset that it's not exactly accurate. If you want exactly accurate information, Ypsilon provides the Chinese unboxing data because that is actually realistic and the exact amount of data for the most part. But talking about total unboxing data, this is very important because obviously we can see the relative demand for each case. If a case has a ton of unboxings, it's most likely probably going to be a little bit better of an investment if we can line it up with some of those other factors we were talking about earlier. If we look at this example here, talking about the Spectrum case, the Vanguard case, and the Gamma case, all three of these are sitting at relatively similar price points. And if I was just to give you this straight up data, you'd probably choose the Vanguard case because it's got about 50% less listed on the market if we didn't really know what we were talking about. But we can head over to unboxing numbers and see just how unboxed it actually is. Looking at 77,000 for the Vanguard case, but we're looking at quite a significant amount more for the Spectrum case and the Gamma case. 350,000 for the Gamma case, 266,000 for the Spectrum case. Obviously this is an approximation, but it's not going to be that far off. I mean, the Vanguard case is being unboxed almost 5-to-1 by the Gamma case here, so it doesn't really make a ton of sense to invest into that at this current time based off that specific data. The next thing that I specifically look at is ROI. I use this as kind of when I'm looking into the future, what specifically am I thinking this case might potentially be at? We know that ROIs are very important to some specific people, but it's not very important to everyone. Otherwise, why would we see so many expensive things being opened or being crafted or doing so on and so forth? It's an important factor for me personally because honestly, I'd like to think about the average person who's a little bit more savvy, because that's what I focus in on in this channel. Obviously, I'm very about the numbers, but there's more than enough people that just pick out a case and open it. So that's kind of why we can see some of these cheaper cases end up with less desirable ROIs. Something like the clutch case, it's sitting at 37% in this example. I'm over here on cases.jonesy.mo. So there's not really a great way to determine yes or no on return on investment in my opinion, but I always just like to look at this, see the glove case is sitting at a 20% return on investment, and I can honestly, in my opinion, rule that out because that's not what I'm investing for. And obviously you are more than free to make your own determinations about the data. I'm just giving you a little bit into my mindset. After that, we've got indexes and overall resources on the internet. Indexes, talking about those esports fire indexes that I recently showcased in one of my past videos. If you have not seen it, go ahead, check it out. It's pretty interesting. But basically, these esports fire indexes are very important because honestly, they give you a good rough estimate of what's been going on in certain areas. They've got three main case ones. Now, when we're looking overall on the internet, it's going to be very important that you know who you are taking advice from. Personally, I have every single one of my investments public, and which is why I believe that gives me a certain level of credibility. I've got pretty much every single video I've ever made you can still watch. There's maybe a couple of them that have had some issues and I've taken them down, but this can go all the way back to my second upload. You can still watch it here on YouTube. The first one was not invested related, but this is just to give you an idea of someone who's trying to hide their past is most likely not going to be very beneficial for you to follow as an investor. You can see my entire history, and honestly, I've got a very solid history of investing here in CSGO Investing on YouTube. Very significant profit I have made, and a lot of that is due to the decisions I have made. But the thing is, not everyone is as clear as I am, and therefore you have to figure out who you are going to specifically choose. The last one I want to point out for today is going to be the timeline. Timeline is something that is a very overlooked area and honestly can make you a significant amount of money if it's played to the right area. Timeline is what I'm referring to. It's over on the CSGO Market Forum wiki under frequently asked questions, and it gives you pretty much whenever case was gotten into the game or was released by Valve, and then it's also got the dates that it went into the rare drop pool. But this is very important because you can see that not every case is created equal. Obviously, the clutch case has been out for almost 5 years at this point in the active duty. Definitely not something you should make a specific investment decision on, but honestly, if you're sitting between two cases, it could be the deciding factor, and it is for me personally when I'm looking at some cases that I'm stuck in between. It's very important that you look at this because it can give you an idea of just how many cases are actually out there. But that's pretty much all I have for today. If there's anything else you believe I missed, drop it down in the comments below. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.